Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. Take down the Rocky statue. Philly needs to put Ian Happ in bronze. Flexing for Cy Young. 4 home runs for the Cubs. Load up the old beer bat. CHGO Cubs next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign-up. 4 homers for the Cubs, an 8-4 win. The offense that was dead, Cody, has risen. It is back, and the Cubs are back. They got a chance to win a series tomorrow afternoon. Nice game for the offense. It started very slowly. Colin Rea started very slowly. But anytime you get 4 home runs and a red-hot Ian Happ, who we will talk about a lot coming up in this podcast, good things usually happen. 4 homers, you better win the game.
Absolutely. And to start off tonight, the chat was livid at Dansby Swanson last night. Starts the game off for the Cubs with a homer. He actually had a good night. Added a single later in the game, and he walked. So good night for Dansby Swanson as well. It's kind of probably overshadowed because Ian Happ had 2 homers and Michael Busch's 442-foot bomb. That was a tank.
That was.
And then Phillies bullpen comes in later, and they can't hold it. And at some point, Seiya Suzuki and Kyle Tucker, they will hurt you. And just good to see the offense kind of break out here. I mean, they scored 6 runs against the Tigers on Saturday. Our chat, social media is acting like the Cubs haven't been scoring runs at all. People just pushing down on this whole they can't hit off of elite pitchers or whatever. I don't care. Win games, hit against pitchers you should hit against. They hit pretty well tonight off the Phillies' top pitching prospect. Maybe one day we'll say he's an elite pitcher. No one was going to remember this game, though. But the point is that the offense did what this offense has been doing all season, and that is hitting the ball over the fence, manufacturing runs, and giving quality at bats. Ian Happ, 2 homers. He also walked twice.
Yes.
So
on base a lot.
That's my leadoff hitter. Stop asking me about it.
Cody will be doing a beer bat chug for those of you wondering who are new to the show. That's coming up in the second segment. We will time it. 10.25 seconds is a quality beer bat chug. Go ahead and give us your guesstimates on that throughout the show. Hi to everybody in the new CHGO Cubs YouTube chat for the show. Make sure you subscribe to the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Like it, subscribe it, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger. I saw Jim Cook is in there. He's going to be apparently doing a beer bat chug along with Cody and then posting that to social media because he's a big Cubs fan. He says, Cubs won. Great job by the umps tonight. Great point, Jim. Great point.
That does fit my narrative, so thank you for pointing that out, Jim.
I'm going to tell you what, and I know you're going to say I'm a screaming old guy.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. I'm not going to say you're a screaming old guy.
Ian Happ was a hero tonight. He hit 2 home runs. The Cubs hit 4.
Mm-hmm.
But this game was neck and neck. And Reese McGuire did one of the little things that wins you a baseball game. What did he do? He grounded a ball that should have been a double play. And that slow, lumbering catcher chugged his way down to first base, and he beat the throw.
Mm-hmm.
1 minute later, Ian Happ hit a 2-run homer. That's the type of little stuff that you have to do in a season and maybe in a playoff game someday to get over the top. Run hard, respect 90, like Madden used to say. The Cubs do those things. Like, that's what's made this season enjoyable for me compared to last year. Not just the wins. Of course, the wins have made it better. But the way this team plays is enjoyable to watch. the way Matt Shaw barehands the ball in the ninth inning and makes a great defensive play, the way Reese McGuire respected 90, ran it out, and beat the throw, allowing them to hit a 2-run homer minutes later. The way the bullpen, which we will talk about, came in and did their job in this game. Guy after guy. I joked about flexing for Cy Young, but the guy hasn't allowed a run.
Yeah.
And I can go down the list. Presley and Prest again. Like, they were good. But the Cubs did little things in a game that was close because they were hitting solo homer, solo homer, solo homer. And then they did one small thing, running the bases hard, that helped make it a 2-run homer. And from there, they tacked on,
and
which I also appreciate.
And Reese McGuire was part of the, late inning tacking on of insurance runs.
He was this close to a home run.
Yeah.
I thought
you almost called it.
I said, and now he hits a 2-run homer at pitch.
Right off the wall.
We almost lost our minds off the top of the wall.
Yeah.
It's a fun team to watch.
Yeah. Well, and I don't try to come on here and be positive for the sake of being positive. Like, I'm no offense to our friends at Marquee Sports Network, but we know that they have to push positive rhetoric most of the time. And this year, they've done it because the team is good. In previous years, it's like you watch and you're like, okay, who's telling these guys to lie to us? Okay, no offense to the talent. I think the talent there is great, but you all know what I mean. But this year, I've been pretty positive because, like, there's no reason for me to get super negative. Like, you want me to have some concerns? I've mentioned a lot of different concerns for this team. If we're talking big picture, we're talking World Series, stuff like that. But overall, like, I've been pretty positive for most of the season because of what you just said. Like, they do all the little things. Their offense is good, great at times.
They run the bases well.
They run the bases well. They play great defense. And the pitching, which is probably the biggest concern that I've had with this team all season as a whole, they don't have their top 2 starters, and they're finding a way. Colin Rea, I have big concerns for him right now, but he gutted out 4 1/3, and Ryan Brazier couldn't make his box score look any better, and there's plenty of time to talk about that, but I don't know, man. He's finding a way to just eat you some innings when you need someone to eat you some innings. And so, but before these last handful of outings for Colin Rea, he's had good outings too, So I think that in general, the team is just they've gelled really well together early on in the season. You're 41-26 on June 10th. Like, there's not a lot to complain about for me, man. Not a lot to complain about. And this one tonight just feels especially good because last night's loss was brutal. Just like they punched you right in the face last night because you felt like you should have won. You felt like you should have won last night. Tonight, not only do you win, but you kind of win in like a dominating fashion. Like, after you got those late insurance runs, the Phillies, you look at the names in that lineup and you're like, they could come back from 4 down late at home. Didn't matter. Bullpen shuts it down. Brad Keller tweeted his numbers today from CHGO Cubs Twitter account. Insane. I don't. Our guy, Sean Caselli, I believe in the chat saying he's celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Came to Friday 120 Club, last Friday 120 Club we had, and he brought an Extend Brad Keller sign. He said he's bringing it on Friday.
You have to.
And, he's been awesome. He shut down this Phillies offense at a key point because I believe when he came in, the Phillies had the top of the order coming up. And he found a way to, after pitching an inning and a third yesterday, found a way to come in and pitch a clean inning again tonight. 20 appearances, only 1 earned run? There's so much to talk about this team, and I'm rambling about a lot of it, but in general, the bullpen really showed out again today since without Rea being able to go super deep. And even though Brazier gave up the lead, he got 2 big strikeouts after that.
That's right.
And kept it a 1-run game. And if it's a 1-run game in this Cubs offense, there's always going to be some form of a chance or hope. Because as much as they struggled in some of these games on this road trip, they've still had games like they eventually did tonight. And anyone in this lineup can shoot the ball over the fence, it feels like.
There was a point earlier in the season where I thought, and the bullpen had started to turn it around, and Presley had been moved out of the closer role. Hodge was still healthy, and the bullpen was going on a pretty good run. And I thought to myself, is the bullpen going to be good now, or are they just lucky for this stretch, right? Like that happens with bullpens because they're volatile and it's a roller coaster ride for a lot of teams, almost every team throughout a season. But I'm getting to the point now where I believe in this bullpen. I believe in the guys that are coming in. I mean, that's Brad Keller, 20 appearances, 1 unearned run. That's a healthy sample size.
Yeah.
His season has been impressive start to right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I know Flexen has been a little bit lucky. The guy hasn't given up a run.
Yeah.
I know Pomeranz was, packing groceries or whatever he was doing for 3 years. I believe in him. Mm-hmm. He comes in, he's going to get outs. Theobar, I believe in him. Now Brazier's in. Okay.
Yeah.
Palencia, he's made a believer out of me. When Hodge comes back, and by the way, we saw the report from Iowa that he threw, and by all accounts, things went well for Hodge. So that's another name coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way that Counsell uses him, which was always a calling card of Craig Counsell. When he got the right guys, he knows how to work a bullpen. Guys, I'm starting to think it's not luck anymore. I'm starting to think this bullpen is legit.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I haven't had to tweet the circle of trust graphic in a while. Because they're all in there. I think the only guy who's not in there right now is Genesis Cabrera because he just hasn't had enough appearances to convince me that he belongs in there. I think I finally put Flexen in there a couple weeks ago. They're all in there. And when I first started the bit, it was like Hodge and Keller.
Yes.
And people even argued with me about them being in there. They've objectively been one of the best bullpens in baseball since April 19th. And I think a lot of naysayers were like, well, you played this easy schedule in mid to late May. And that's true. They pitched well against teams that they should pitch well against. They also did play some tough teams during that stretch too, but I won't go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, the bullpen, as frustrating as this road trip has been for the Cubs at times, the bullpen hasn't been the reason they've lost games.
No, your starter went 4 1/3 in this game and gave up 4 runs. And because of the offense, you were still in it because of the home runs. But just as importantly is that bullpen and the way they performed after the starter went out. They kept them at bay. They kept the Cubs in this game. And I know Philly hasn't been playing great baseball, but
they're still the Phillies. And you look at their record, they've played well. And also, they came into your house and won a series.
By the way, can you believe Colin Rea struck out Schwarber 3 times?
3 times, dude.
3 times.
I bet on
Unbelievable.
I have no proof of proving this unless you or Sarah just say that I said it. But I came in this office tonight and I said, if Colin Rea finds a way to keep Kyle Schwarber from doing anything in this game, the Cubs will win this game. And Colin Rea just said, hold my beer, and struck out Schwarber 3 times. And the 3rd time was in a crucial moment. It ended up hurting the Cubs anyway because Brazier came in and gave up the hit.
Yeah.
But Schwarber can shoot the ball over the fence at any time. He was plus 210 to homer tonight on Bet365. Okay? The guy can hit a homer at any time. The fact that Colin Rea has been what Colin Rea has been his last 3-4 appearances, and Kyle Schwarber did nothing against him tonight, blows my mind. The most surprising thing from the entire game. I should give Colin Rea a little bit more credit for it, but it's hard knowing that he continues to give up hard contact. But I give him credit for getting Schwarber out at the times that you needed to get him out, though.
The triangle of trust is getting crowded. That's all I know. It's getting real crowded for this Cubs bullpen. Cubs win 8-4. They slug 4 home runs. Cody will do a beer bat chug in just a minute. Get your stopwatches ready. Go ahead and get yourself a beer bat. Record yourself doing a beer bat chug responsibly and tweet it at us. We'd like to compare with Cody side by side, and then we'll post it if you send it to us. So anyways, Cubs win 8-4. Let us know what time you think this is going to be. Is it going to be 10-5 or less? We will find out in just a few seconds. But first, a word from our sponsors. Hey, baseball fans, if you're thinking about upgrading your drive this season, Toyota's 2025 lineup is definitely worth a look. There's the RAV4, versatile, reliable, and always ready for adventure. Grand Highlander, plenty of room and super comfortable. Looking for efficiency? The Corolla's got you covered. It's smart, stylish, and easy on gas. And if you need something tougher, don't forget the Tacoma, bringing serious durability. And finally, the good old Camry, sleek and packed with performance. Summer starts here. Visit your local dealer today. You can check out the full lineup at Toyota.com or stop by your local Chicagoland Toyota dealership. Toyota, let's go places.
And, of course, right now is the perfect time to become a CHGO diehard and upgrade your fandom today. Get access to exclusive written content, a free t-shirt, plenty of discounts on future merch and events, plus access to our CHGO Discord lounge where we hang out and talk Chicago sports and much more. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO diehards in our community. We cannot wait to connect with you on an even greater level.
Just like our favorite team needs a home field advantage, you need a home flooring advantage. Empire Today can give it to you. Empire Today has flooring experts. We've all been to the big box store. You walk around aimlessly. You look at the neon lights. You don't know what you're looking for. They might have a flooring department, but the person helping you today might have been selling toilets yesterday. They might be stocking the shelves with light bulbs tomorrow. All they do at Empire is live and breathe flooring. Pick the right flooring in the right colors for your space. Get precise measurements taken. Get all your questions answered. Clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. So schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are better at home. CHGO listeners get $350 off. All you have to do is use the promo code CHGO. You heard me, $350 off. CHGO gets it done for you. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. Cubs win 8-4. It is time for our Taking the Temp segment. Your trusted local experts, our Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electronics. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. You want to take the temp? How about Ian Happ? He is heating up. Joey, the sports guy, was sitting next to us, and he said, you know, all these guys have 10-plus homers on the Cubs, and now you got another one today. He said, but wait a minute. Ian Happ hasn't gotten hot yet. I said, that's right. But he did hit a homer yesterday.
And he wanted to go down the slander path. He wanted to.
He thought about it.
And it triggered me. I won't lie. It triggered me, and then I had to teach him some stuff.
He said, Happ hasn't done it yet. Well, Happ this road trip now, 9 hits, 4 walks, 8 RBI, 4 home runs.
That'll do, donkey.
He's heating up.
Yeah.
Your leadoff guy's heating up.
Yeah. Ian Happ, it's long been due, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, the oblique thing kind of slowed him down.
Yeah, the oblique thing definitely slowed him down. So, shall we do the beer bat and we can talk more about him?
This is it. Let me get the stopwatch ready again. 10.25 is considered a quality beer bat chug from Cody Delmendo. Sarah has 1 watch. I have another watch. Vanilla Chills calling 9.5. Rhonda, whose birthday is coming up this weekend. Early happy birthday, Rhonda. What do you think? Yeah. I saw a 9.69 from Craig Brindle.
That's a normal. Vanilla Chill, 9.5. Okay.
Sean usually thinks something like that, a 9.69. A lot of people like the 9.
With the 6.9.
With the 6.9. And really here comes Cody. The dedication, I'm assuming, is going to be
it's to Ian
Chris
Happ.
Flexen? Oh, no.
It's not
Ian
Chris
Happ,
Flexen.
my bad.
One day, we will be giving Chris Flexen some form of a dedication. I feel it in my soul.
Maybe he could get the foam on this.
We're giving it to Ian Happ.
Hawkeye's calling 9.82.
And he
Pat says 9.81. Becky at 10.2.
Get the game-winning hit tonight.
All right. Godfather calling 6 flat.
Wow. Okay, Godfather.
There's the positivity.
He's holding me accountable. I think that's the way he's viewing it.
Casey, on the other hand, says 10.7. That's not a quality beer bat chug, so let's see.
We'll try.
Cody Delmendo. And the beer has hit his lips. The clock is underway. Here we go. Cody Delmendo is ready through the barrel of the bat. He's getting down to the end. Remember, we got a Friday 120 club coming up, and he loves to do them there too. And boom, I got a 9.18.
I got a 10.03, but I feel like it also.
Either way, it's a quality beer bat chug.
chug.
He's done it again. He's done it again,
I feel
folks.
like I was a second, maybe too
Just
long.
one slight belch, and that was it. But that's ASMR is what I've been told.
Yes,
that is considered ASMR.
I've been told that's considered
love it.
ASMR.
You're learning that from our watch-alongs.
People love it.
So there it is. Ian Happ has been heating up, and all the people that wanted to move him out of the leadoff spot now can simmer down for a little bit.
Well, listen, he hit 2 homers. That's fine, but he also walked twice.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He finds a way to get on base. He sets the table. That's why PCA and Seiya Suzuki are top 5 in runs batted in. You know? Kyle Tucker driving in runs. He's also an on-base machine too. You know, that to me, that's why. Now, I'm not against it. You want to move him out of the leadoff spot at some point if he goes ice cold, sure. If he has an OPS under 700 in August, sure. You want to do that? Fine. That's fine with me. But I'm still not putting PCA in the leadoff spot, even though Craig put him there whenever he was hurt. I'm still not doing that. I would put Kyle Tucker there, or I would put Nico Horner there. That's what I would do. That's what I would do personally. But the point is that Ian Happ, one way or another, he will have the same numbers, and he'll be somewhere worth between 3.5 to 4 WAR by the end of the year. That is what he's done the last 3 years, and he will find a way to be that by the end of the year. And hopefully he's hitting well at the end of September, going into October, and this team is rolling, and you got an offense that's in a really good spot going to October if this team continues to play well and win games.
The second homer was number 7 on the season. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. So he's going to be at 10 pretty soon. Let's revisit our whole, where will these guys end up with homers? Because I always worry about, are they going to finally get a 30-homer guy? I don't know if they have a 40-homer guy, but there's a chance.
PCA's still on pace, and Seiya's right there with
There's
him.
a chance they have a 40-homer guy. I think they have at least 2 30-homer guys this year.
Yeah.
They might have 3.
Yeah.
Because Tucker could do it too. And now Busch hit another one.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys hit 20 home runs for this team this year? I believe Happ will be there. I believe Dansby will be there. PCA will be there. Tucker will be there. Seiya will be there. Busch will be there.
6. Can Carson Kelly hit 10 more? 11 more, actually.
They're going to have 6 20-homer guys.
Yeah.
Will they have 330? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a 40, 2 30s, and a bunch of 20s.
But 6, there's 9 guys in the lineup. There's 9 guys in the lineup.
Yeah.
Now, in 2023, they had somewhere around 6 guys hit 20 homers, but they didn't have anyone who hit 30. You know what I mean? So I hope by the end of the year we're talking about 6 guys who had 20 plus
at least,
20 plus, but 1 or 2 that have at least 30. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I looked it up recently. Like they're I want to say they're top 5 in home runs as a team. Remember bold predictions for the year? I said this team would hit 200 plus homers as a team.
Yeah.
They had like 75 when I looked it up. That was before the Saturday game. That was before tonight. So, I mean, they're right up there, man. This team can hit the ball out of the park, and we can all easily just sit here and say, oh, well, Kyle Tucker's the difference, this and that. I think he's been the difference for a guy like Seiya.
I don't think he's had,
but like,
I don't want to say he's had no impact on PCA, because I think you can only benefit from having a guy like that on your team to be around, watch him, yada, yada, yada. But the credit's got to go to PCA for what he's doing.
Sure, yeah.
Seiya's probably benefited
from Tucker.
From Tucker.
Yes.
I don't think he's had an impact on Happ. I don't any of that stuff.
So I have your question to most homers or most players with 20 plus on a Cubs team. Can you guess the 3 years they've had 6 players?
They had one.
2023.
Correct. Bellinger, Happ, Morel, Suzuki, Swanson, Wisdom.
Yeah. That was the most recent.
That was the most recent.
And it was 2 other times?
Yes, sir.
2004.
No, 04 was 5.
Did they do it in
07
16?
off the screen, not 07.
Did they do it in 16?
They did not do it in 16.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't do it in 16.
17.
17.
Sorry.
Baez, Bryant, Contreras, Happ, Rizzo,
That was a good
Schwarber.
bias.
Evan, 19.
Yeah, Schwarbs.
Oh, yeah.
Nin-
Schwarber was hurt in 16.
Yeah.
19 was the other one. Baez, Bryant, Contreras, Haywood, Rizzo, Schwarber.
That was Sean
Stats
Anderson.
man.
Sean Anderson.
CHGO
Stat man.
White Sox.
Stat man.
Stat man.
He's
Hey,
baseball
by the
stat
way,
man. 2004 was Sean Caselli's guess. That was a good guess, too.
Cardinals lose 10-9. So the
2007.
Cubs
a
are
little
up
miss.
5 games in the Central.
I forget Corey Patterson had in 2007. So Sosa, Patterson, Lee, Ramirez, Alou in 2007. I mean, used to be a thing. 84 Cubs had a bunch of guys that hit home runs. I would guess that. 84 Cubs, Sean. Give me the 84 Cubs. Sandberg, yes. Gary Matthews,
You're talking
yes.
1884, Cap Anson, Abner,
1884.
Dampleray, Fred Pfeiffer, and Ed
1984
Williamson.
Cubs.
Um,
Sarge Rhino, Moreland, Say.
1984?
84 Cubs had to have at least like 5 guys.
Say in Durham.
Just Say and Durham.
Just say in Durham.
Interesting.
83 was Say and Davis.
98.
Well, Sandberg had 20 home runs in 84. What's he talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, Jake asked about 98, so dead air.
Sandberg had 20 in 84. Anyways. Yeah, Ron Say was a home run hitter. The point is, we've talked about begging this team to have some power, and you know what? They have some power.
Yeah.
They have some pop, and that's not just because they hit 4 home runs tonight. It's because they can win games with that power now, and then they can still win games the other way with
That's
the
how they won.
defense and the running the bases. And today was sort of a combo of all of it.
Yes.
They needed all of those things.
Yeah.
And the bullpen.
Reese McGuire with the big double or single, whatever it was, off the wall. Tucker and Saya coming through there in the 7th or 8th inning, whatever inning it was, with big hits to drive in runs. You know, they can hit the ball over the wall, but they also can just hit guys in. I know that they have struggled on this road trip a little bit with runners in scoring position and stuff like that, but tonight they showed what they've been all season. I quote tweeted, there's this account out there, Thomas, I'm looking it up. I'm on my Twitter account right now. Thomas Nestico, TJ Stats on Twitter. I don't know who he is, but he just showed up on my timeline one day. And this guy tweets stats like every day. And I've been quote tweeting him so much because he's pushing all kinds of Cubs narratives in my head. All right. Not actually pushing Cubs narratives, but pushing things that like I can use from my Cubs narrative. All right. And today he tweeted the league leaders with in batting average with runners in scoring position. And going into today, the Cubs were second in baseball in batting average with runners in scoring position at 293. Only the Dodgers were ahead of them at 301. So despite how bad at times on this road trip where the Cubs have struggled with runners in scoring position, they're still second in baseball coming into tonight with 293 with runners in scoring position. It's going to go up a little bit after tonight. And so like that's kind of the point, is like this offense has been hitting with runners in scoring position all season. And yeah, you're going to have ups and downs at certain points, 162 game season. Guys are going to struggle, this and that. But yeah, man, like I love to see that. And hopefully we see a little bit more of what we saw in the late innings tonight, not only tomorrow, but when we go back home to beautiful historic Wrigley Field, and keep it rolling, because I don't feel like this offense is in some form of a slump, as like a lot of people are saying right now.
No, and at this point, I think you could say the bullpen's not a fluke and the offense is not a fluke. We'll see what happens. They have another chance to. They had 7 straight series wins. Then they lost the series. Now they can get back on the winning track again if they can win this game coming up tomorrow afternoon. A noon start for the Cubs and Phillies. We're going to talk about that possible revenge game for Ben Brown. I want to ask you in the live YouTube chat, what do you do with Colin Rea? You ready for trying Chris Flexen? Who's ready for that idea? When do you take Colin Rea out of the rotation? That's coming up in a second. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circus Sports Illinois. Circus Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circus Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams and every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circus Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Right now, I keep saying this, get your bets in on Pete Carl Armstrong to win NL MVP. Take the Cubs tomorrow. Take the Cubs any day, considering they're one of the best teams in baseball right now. But as far as futures, I do love PCA to win it NL MVP right now. The odds are great. All right, so download the new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We've all been there. Your juicy parlay is one leg away. I know Cody has. And then the relief pitcher gives up a walk-off bomb in the ninth. Total heartbreak. Sound familiar? Well, the Hall of Fame app is built to fix it. Started by two lifelong sports fans who also happen to be Ivy League grads. This isn't your buddy's group chat full of hot takes. It's full analytics, a full analytics engine. No matter the sport, the app gives you beautiful charts, clean visuals, and real insight, not hype. Our listeners get a 7-day free trial, 50% off their first month. Just download the HOF app or visit HOFbets.com and use the code CHGO at checkout. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use the code CHGO at checkout. Just download that HOF app on iOS, Android. Visit HOFbets.com, enter the code CHGO, and you are all set to go. They believe anything the books know, you should know too. It's only fair, and that's why you need the HOF app. Cubs win 8-4. Colin Rea, 4 1/3 innings, 4 earned runs. But then the bullpen came in and was lights out as the Cubs hit 4 home runs. So I asked before we went to break, I asked the chat here on the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to and make sure you like, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger. I asked, what do we do about Colin Rea? Do you still have confidence that he's the guy? Now, obviously, when the Cubs signed him, he's pretty much doing exactly what the Cubs asked him to do. Yeah. He's supposed to be depth.
Yeah.
In case you lose something like Justin Steele, or you lose Shota for a month and a half, or all of those things go wrong. And so he is not supposed to be one of your starters. He's supposed to be a guy that makes a couple starts a year because you have a random start that you need somebody to throw in, or he's supposed to be the long guy out of the bullpen. Colin Rea has been just fine. But Flexen hasn't allowed a single run. Has Rea had his good stretch and now maybe back to reality where he is, the pitcher that he is, which is fine for what they signed him for? Should they flip the roles? Are you ready to try that?
Yeah, honestly. I don't think the Cubs are going to do it, but I'm open to it. And I see a lot of people in the chat saying, when Shota comes back, he can replace Rea. And the thing is this goes into why the Cubs need to go get a starting pitcher at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Shota, we saw on the broadcast, threw in Arizona.
Right. So right now, your starting rotation without Shota has been Ben Brown, Cade Horton, Jamison Tyone, Matt Boyd, and Colin Rea. Right. So when Shota comes back, you could easily put Colin Rea back into the bullpen. But I'm still sitting here thinking, and this is nothing against Cade Horton, but how many innings is he going to pitch this year? You know what I mean? I do think once we get to the postseason, he's not going to be starting games. He could be used as a high leverage, 1 or 2 inning, multi-inning reliever type guy. Maybe, I guess. I'm curious to see how that goes. And I still am wondering how many innings is Cade Horton going to be allowed to pitch this year, right? So, yeah, when Shota comes back, you could put him in for Colin Rea, but you're still going to need another starter And so in the present right now, yeah, like I'd be open to seeing what Chris Flexen can do in a similar role as what Colin Rea is in right now. Because essentially Chris Flexen has been playing what the Cubs wanted Colin Rea to be this year. Colin Rea was a mop-up, innings eater type guy. Like, when have we seen Chris Flexen? When the Cubs are up by multiple runs or down multiple runs.
Or closing games. A couple times.
Closing
randomly. games
when you're up 4 runs.
That's right,
okay.
yes.
Right? There's one moment, one appearance where he was actually out there in I think they had a 1-run lead.
Mm-hmm.
That's for Chris Flexen. That was the only time I think that he has pitched in what I would consider a high leverage situation. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that the bullpen was taxed and this and that. And so Craig did this. But overall, he has only gone out there whenever the Cubs have a big lead or are trailing by multiple runs. So, and that is what what Colin Rea was doing before Justin Steele got hurt. So if you want to flip-flop and see if Flexen can give you some value, give you a nice run like Colin Rea did these first 2 months, I'm okay with that. I'm down to see it because the hard contact that Colin Rea is giving up right now, I cannot believe the Cubs have won the last 2 Colin Rea starts. And I think the defense deserves a lot of credit. The offense certainly deserves a lot of credit. And yeah, I mean, I think that's where I'm at with Colin Rea. That's why I was so loud about I can't believe he struck out Schwarber 3 times tonight. Considering the matchup, considering Schwarber had great numbers against him in his career. So yeah, I personally don't think the Cubs are going to change it just because they're winning games with him out there. And I know how much Colin Rea is a Craig Counsell guy. Because I think the only reason that he is here is because he was in Milwaukee with Craig Counsell.
And he had confidence in him. He knows him. He's comfortable with him.
Right. And
he knew what he'd need him for.
And as much or as frustrating as Colin Rea has been to me recently, tonight he gave up a lot of hard contact first couple innings. And then that 3rd and 4th inning, he just went through the innings pretty fast. It was 1, 2, 3 innings out of that just, he got really quick outs. And I'm just I don't understand you, dude. I don't understand him. That's it. But it's in a good way. I'm saying that in a good way. He just finds a way to eat innings for the Cubs. He does bring value. And because the Cubs have a great defense behind him, I think that gives him confidence to throw strikes. And so I think the defense has helped him out a lot. He's also had some good moments despite what I would consider a tough stretch from him right now. So if they don't change it, it's fine. If they do, I would like to see how Flexen could do just because he has been pretty valuable for the Cubs during the stretch. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to the Cubs are going to have to add a starting pitcher.
He brought Flexi back. It's not sexy back, but he's brought Flexi back for sure. I'm not sure I'm ready to put him in the rotation just yet. I enjoy that he's doing what he's doing well, and I sort of think if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's fair, too.
Now, the Colin Rea thing, I think it looks like Shota's let's just throw a number. Let's say he's a week away.
Yeah.
10 days away.
Looked healthy in the video that Marquis
threw 25
showed.
pitches. So Shota's coming back soon. The trade deadline's not that far away. Boy, I am looking forward to seeing Horton go against Skeens on Friday. Friday 120 Club, by the way.
Yeah, should be fun. Skeens shoved on
I
my
don't
birthday
think I'm
last
ready
year.
to make the Flexen move to the rotation yet. In a perfect world, the Cubs will add maybe even 2 starters. If you give me a choice between one absolute ace or 2 high upside guys, I'll take the ace. Given that choice.
Yeah.
Because I think you still have enough with Shota. I think Boyd is elite. I think Tyone can pitch in a playoff game for sure. And you could have Horton or Ben Brown because Ben Brown is tomorrow. One of the guys, yesterday we talked about Chris Sale. I don't think they're ready to trade him yet, but I'm more interested in that than I was
Well,
3 weeks ago.
They lost tonight.
Yeah.
The Braves did. Unfortunately to the Brewers, but they did lose tonight.
Boy, they'd have to really give up on next year to just bail on them.
Yeah.
That's the trick if they really want to. But they got to figure out some money.
There's other
things.
names we can talk about.
So the other name today, we've been talking about since actually the off season, was Sandy Alcantara. Now, he was horrible so far this year. Coming off the Tommy John, just not good.
Up into his last 2 starts.
But tonight, 6 innings, no runs, 6 strikeouts.
3 hits.
Okay,
Against the
now.
Pirates.
But it's progress.
Yeah. And his last start before that was against the Rockies.
But it's still progress in the right direction.
Yeah.
Now, he wouldn't be as high of an upside for me as adding Chris Sale.
Based off performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, boy, that's going to get interesting. And what's interesting about it is his asking price just cannot be nearly as high as it was. I think the asking price in the offseason would have been higher.
Yeah.
He hasn't pitched well this year.
Yeah.
They can't ask for the farm for him.
Yeah. But
There's some control there.
I think there's 2 years.
Yeah,
1 year with
so.
the club option.
Boy, he's still really interesting.
I feel like
He's still really interesting.
We get to the end of June and that narrative could change. But as of today, after today's start, he still has a 7 earned run average. Now, I think the difference is A, he's still young. B, he still has years of control, and he's making like $17 million this year and somewhere around that next year too. So considering the upside, that's a really good price. I do think the Marlins, if he continues to pitch like he has the last 2 outings, I do think the Marlins could have some leverage there. But the plus side with him is this guy has pitched well before and is young, unlike Chris Sale.
Yeah.
And with his last injury being Tommy John surgery, it's like, okay, when you got it out of the way, hopefully you don't have to do it again. You know, I still have Chris Sale as like my big dream, but I do think Alcantara.
He's 1A.
Yeah, I do think Alcantara is a possibility. You want me to get real Delulu? You want me to force me to take the rose-colored glasses off? The dream for me is somehow, some way to end up with Sale and Alcantara. But if Alcantara continues to pitch like he has the last 2 outings, that's not going to happen. A couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, if you can get Sale and then like maybe Alcantara's so bad that he becomes like a flyer trade, like maybe. But if he continues to pitch like he has the last 2 outings, it's not going to be that way.
Well, the idea of also adding somebody for not just a playoff push and hopefully a great postseason run, the idea of adding somebody also for at least the first half of next year, not knowing what Steele's coming back from, really you're talking about for all of next year, you're looking for somebody too.
Yeah.
Because anything Justin Steele gives you next year is going to be a bonus. That's the way you have to approach it going into the season.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's nothing against Justin Steele.
No.
It's the fact that he will be coming off a injury that he rehabbed for a year basically. And his injury is similar to Spencer Strider. Strider hasn't been very good for the Braves. Fastball velocity is down this year. He's still working himself back. Like these pitchers who come off these major injuries, like it takes them a while. And that's why I still have this like itch for Sandy Alcantara. And if you can get him at a price that like we could hopefully look back at and be like, I can't believe we just traded that for him, that'd be a massive win for the organization and Jed Hoyer. But if he's starting to figure it out now after these last 2 starts, who cares if it's the Pirates and the Rockies? If he continues to do this, that value's skyrocketing pretty quick.
It does seem like it's a pretty good year for a team like the Cubs to need, not only because they have the prospect capital to go do it, but it seems like a pretty good year to try and go add pitching. Everybody tries to add pitching that thinks they're a playoff team. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But there's some names like, are the Diamondbacks going to be able to hang around? Is Zach Gallen available? Somebody said Weathers. Well, Weathers just went on the 60-day, but that doesn't mean
can be a throw-in.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of, the DeGrom thing is just a major financial commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably takes you out of the Tucker conversation if you think you're going to be in it.
Sure.
So then weigh that for yourself too. Would you be willing to take, if you were willing to do that, are you willing to take DeGrom if it means you got no shot at Tucker?
Probably not, just because of the injury.
Probably
history.
would rather go after one of those other pitchers.
Yeah. So Alcantara, just in case no one knows, Alcantara, 29 years old this year, making $17.5 million this year and next year. He's so he'll be 30 next year, and then in 2027 is a club option. So worst case scenario, he doesn't do well. The Cubs don't like it. They could not pick up the option for 2027. But if he gets back to Cy Young form over the next 2 years, you pick up that option, you make $21 million in 2027. He could potentially make a ton of money in 2028. Who knows where you're at? Who knows what pitchers you developed? That's a whole conversation that we can't even have right now. So we're talking about 2.5 seasons here for Alcantara. It just really depends on how he performs, in my opinion, over the next month and a half. Because I think at this point, the Marlins are going to hold on to him as long as they can and hopefully try and get as much value out of him as they can to get the best haul they can. I mean, worst case scenario, I guess they could hold on to him and try and get more value out of him or get more value for him after the deadline or in the offseason or sometime next year.
Yeah.
But the narrative behind him is that the Marlins want to do anything they can to move this guy. And so I don't know. But the contract is not bad for the upside that he gives. And so anyone who is listening and doesn't think the Cubs should go after this guy, to me, it's more about, it's not really necessarily completely about the results he's giving right now. It's more about like, can the Cubs unlock what he had unlocked before the injury, as we've seen them do with other pitchers who struggled and have now figured out roles. We could talk about how they've helped other guys in the past. They helped Justin Steele. It seems like they've helped Ben Brown in many ways. They've helped Jameson Taillon, who struggled his first year with the Cubs, right? Like, this is a guy who won the Cy Young, right? So, like I said, Chris Sale still number one on my dream list, but this is a guy that you can't forget about. This is a guy that still has plenty of potential to give you ace level stuff for a price in this market that is really, really cheap.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know they're going to add a starting pitcher. It's will they add 2 starting pitchers, and what level will that starting pitcher be at?
Yeah,
I think one of the more interesting things on the current roster is figuring out where that new pitcher will slot in, and then what happens with the development or role for Ben Brown and Cade Horton.
Yeah.
Like, where does it go? So we get both of them the next couple of games here. Ben Brown is the rubber game of this series tomorrow at noon. He's coming off of a start where he went toe-to-toe with Skubal in Detroit. Toe-to-toe. Like, super encouraging the way that he pitched against the Tigers. Which Ben Brown will show up tomorrow against the Phillies? Fascinating. And where and what will his role be as the season continues?
He's going up against Jesus Luzardo, who shoved it against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. And as we all know, was rumored to be part of a trade to the Cubs this past offseason. I think Owen Casey was supposed to be part of the trade. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, what report is true. Because in my head, on what I read, back in, December, shortly after the Kyle Tucker trade, it was that the Cubs wanted to trade for Jesus Luzardo, but his medicals didn't look good to them.
Right.
And then, like, a few months later, I think in spring training, it came out that the Marlins weren't into Owen Casey's medicals, which I found truthful because we learned that Owen Casey had core surgery in the offseason.
Right.
And then Ken Rosenthal wrote a hit piece whenever the Phillies came to Wrigley and basically said,
You blew it.
you blew it, you know? And then, of course, Luzardo shoved. But on the flip side, in regards to this start, Ben Brown, revenge game tomorrow. That's what I'm like, I absolutely need it like oxygen, Luke Stuckmeyer. I need Ben Brown revenge game like oxygen, because he didn't pitch well against the Phillies at Wrigley. I think it was one of those where he had a bad first inning, and it was just all around terrible. We'd have to go back and look. But this guy was part of the Phillies organization, and the Cubs traded David Robertson for this guy. And he's pitched well his last two starts, or two appearances if you don't want to count the game where he had the opener.
Sure.
Shoved and gave the absolute best effort that he could in a game where Tarek Skubal was the other pitcher. And on the road in Detroit, the guy, for sure, this season had his best start against them. So now, can he A, follow it up, find some consistency like I've been asking for, and B, can you finally give me the revenge game that I thought he was going to give at Wrigley on a day that I think the wind was blowing into? So key for him, as we said, walks, throw strikes, and I'm curious about that changeup. How many of those he throws tomorrow?
KM, you got it. Ben Brown needs to go at least 6 because the bullpen has been used a lot the last 2 games.
I agree.
I tell you what, but my confidence, he was a real roller coaster ride. He was challenged by his manager at one point this season to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he didn't walk away from it.
Yeah.
He's faced it. And I would like to see now 3 really good performances in a row. And if he can do that, now that Ben Brown factor, whatever that role might be at the end of the season, starts to look even more intriguing. How could Ben Brown be weaponized for this team the rest of the season, whether it's in the bullpen to try and save some of his arm a little bit or in the rotation? I still think we said Flexen. I still think Flexen will make some starts this year because I think you're going to try and stretch this out a little bit, save guys a little bit. So you'll see probably some double headers where a guy will get in there and pitch some games. I'm looking forward to Ben Brown tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to Cade Horton on Friday. Those are 2 really interesting starts. I don't want to forget, though, what people are saying in the chat. Should we do the Toyota Super Chats first?
Yeah, let's do the Super Chats.
Let's do the Toyota Super Chats before we forget those. KM, $5. Any comment on first pitch hits against Boyd and Rea the last 2 games? Do they need to adjust in future starts?
Well, there was a stat that Marquis said on the broadcast when Colin Rea was pitching really well about how like his first pitch strikes, I want to say, was really high, like the percentage, and then also like he had some crazy stat about how he always gets the first out of an inning as well.
Right.
That's when
the
he
Phillies
was at his
like
best.
to do that though too. The Phillies like to ambush pitchers a little bit, so that's also there.
I as far as what you're asking, KM, I know that Colin Rea needs to at least find some form of adjustment, because even though Boyd didn't strike anyone out in his last start, I do feel like he competed and had, generated more weak contact. Rea is just getting hit all over the diamond, and somehow, some way, has gotten away with it the last 2 games. He also had starts before that where he got hit around and the results weren't good. So does that mean the next start will be like we saw in the first 2 months? I don't know, but I do have more worries about Colin Rea than I do Matt Boyd.
Steven, our guy, with a $5 super chat. Thank God the Cubs won tonight. U.S. Soccer blown out against the Swiss. One of the worst efforts I've ever seen.
Well,
I'll take your word for it.
I'll take your word for it. And
thank you for the super chat.
I don't follow you. I don't follow U.S. soccer.
I don't soccer, but that's I'm glad that most of the world does.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's a good sport. It's just not my sport.
Right. So back to this matchup tomorrow.
Yep.
Wanted to mention Jesus Luzardo has been atrocious his last 2 outings. Against Milwaukee, on May 31st, 3 1/3 innings, 12 earned runs.
No, give me more of that.
And gave up 2 homers.
Mm-hmm.
And then against Toronto on June 5th, 2 1/3 innings, 8 earned runs, and he allowed a homer there. 6 strikeouts total the last 2 outings. You can make an argument maybe this is a get-right start for him, but all I know is before those 2 starts, he was shoving it, man. He had not had a start where he allowed more than 3 earned runs up until that start against Milwaukee. So as we saw him pitch well against the Cubs back in late April, this is an opportunity for the Cubs to, I think this is more for fans. Luzardo is a guy that I think we all know has elite level stuff. I think injuries has been a big part of his narrative of can this guy ever just stay healthy? He could be an ace if he did. He was before the last 2 starts. So to me, I won't
Light him up.
I won't say that this is like facing Zach Wheeler tomorrow, but this guy has been good before. Yeah. And as I said at the beginning of the show, this whole thing about how the Cubs can't hit elite pitching or whatever, the narrative that people are starting to push, they have a chance to at least quiet that down a little bit tomorrow, in my opinion, based off what this guy's done over the course of his career. I mean, I wanted him. I wanted the Cubs to trade for him, right? So it's an opportunity for this Cubs offense to not only kind of slow down that narrative, but also win another series.
Cubs in game 2 against the Tigers hit 5 home runs.
Yeah.
Cubs in game 2 against the Phillies, 4 home runs.
Yep.
And then the offense kind of went silent again on Sunday. I would like to see the rubber game with a lot of home runs and the Cubs get to Luzardo.
Me too.
One thing that's worrying me now about Cubs baseball, and I say this half joking, but not completely joking. Kyle Tucker's headfirst slides. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just been a little bad stretch for his sliding.
Someone commented.
One was a face plant, and the other one looks like he hurt his collarbone. I hope he's okay.
Someone was saying he's going to wake up sore tomorrow.
I would like to see
nervous.
him slide more often than not with his feet first.
It would be interesting to see if he's in the field tomorrow because he DH'd tonight.
Right.
They were saying Seiya might just take that for him.
Today, I would assume that he was DHing because they thought, well, it's a quick turnaround. It's a noon game.
Yeah.
We'll do one of these where Seiya gets to play one of the games in the field, and then now I'm not so sure.
He needs to take 3 Advil tonight, is all I'm saying.
3 Advil. Yeah, as far as the sliding,
it's weird.
Listen,
what's going on?
It kind of triggers my PTSD because if you remember, Chris Bryant's injury history started with him sliding into a base.
Don't compare the two, please.
I'm just saying.
No.
And it was him sliding head first. So I'm just emphasizing how much I agree with you. Okay.
I hate this take.
It's not a take. It's a we've seen the past. I want this guy to be with the Cubs for a long time and be a cornerstone. And one day we're hopefully raising the number, raising the flag, or building a statue, whatever. That's the dream. But he's got to be healthy if we're ever going to get that. And also he's got to be healthy if he even wants to get paid. So,
well, yeah.
I will say after
I didn't like today's slide.
He got that. I was going to say that he got the hit after, but actually he got the hit, and that's why he was on base, and then he slid. So
he actually had a couple ugly strikeouts.
He did
in this game. One where he took an awful swing, and one where he just got blown away and watched it.
Yeah. So, but he, like I said in the first segment, you can only sustain him for so long, and he came up big in terms of getting insurance runs. So, yeah, we'll see how the lineup looks tomorrow. I will just go ahead and say that I think he'll be DHing again tomorrow.
We'll see.
I would be shocked. If he's in right field tomorrow, I guess that's a good thing in many ways too.
Hey, thanks to everybody that watched on the live YouTube chat here at the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel tonight. We appreciate that. If you're listening in podcast form, we appreciate you as well. Please make sure you leave a positive review, a thumbs up, all those things. And don't forget to subscribe to the new YouTube channel. We would appreciate it. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger.
And reminder, we have Friday 120 this week.
Friday 120. Guess who's going to be there? This guy.
You're going? For sure?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Skeens and Horton.
Yeah.
Skeens and Horton, hoping for good weather. It's supposed to be like 83.
T-shirt and shorts.
And hopefully not rain. Not rain. All right, Cubs win 8-4. We're back here after the noon game tomorrow. I believe Kevin Wells will join us for the show. I know there's going to be at least two of us, and Sarah will be running the 1s and 2s. Cubs win 8-4. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, see you tomorrow, and as always, fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.